What's going on, y'all? It's JD Piquel. Today on the Hard Count, we're going to talk about Big 12 expansion, round 2. Welcome into the Hard Count. This is our last video on the 365 Sports platform. If you want to stay up with this, 1, thank you. 2, you can find us on CFB with JD. New channel, linked in the description. Would absolutely love, would relish the opportunity to have you along as we move over to that new channel. It's a free country. You can do whatever you want, but I think it's in your best interest, for sure in my best interest, for sure in all of our best interests, to have you along for the ride as we make that move over to CFB with JD. So our very own David Smoke on 365 Sports had a segment the other day talking about realignment round 2 for the Big 12. And right now, there's a couple names out there. There's a couple schools out there. He mentioned a couple of them. Memphis, Boise State, USF, SMU. Memphis and Boise State probably being the first 2 to get added. There's a lot to unpack there, so we're going to do our best to just take a stab at it. I'll go ahead and preface this with, there's a lot of just speculation right now. A lot of speculation, a lot of things that could or could not be true. I trust David Smoke. At the end of the day, if I got money to put down, I'm putting it down on David Smoke. So call that what you will. I ride with David Smoke. For Memphis, it makes a whole lot of sense for them to be added to the Big 12, if for nothing else because of the FedEx option. Like FedEx and Fred Smith have already come out and said, hey, Big 12, if you add us to your conference, we're going to make it worth your while. We're going to fix what we need to fix with the Liberty Bowl. We're going to take care of what we need to take care of on our end. We will make sure there's enough greenbacks to go around if you add us to your conference. Also, it doesn't hurt. Memphis has been pretty decent in the last few years. It seems like just yesterday they were playing for a Cotton Bowl against Penn State. Had a really solid showing in that game. I know Brady White's not still there, but still, you get the picture. There is still some good football that can be played. It's been proven you can play good ball at a school like Memphis. So Memphis makes a whole lot of sense, if for nothing else, like I said, the FedEx opportunity. Geographically, it would be great to get another Southeast school in there. I know UCF's going to be joining us pretty soon. Like, that'd be just fun. That'd be fun. It'd be fun for everybody. Boise State, they've already come out and said, hey, we're not leaving the Mountain West. Thanks, AAC, but no thanks. And a lot of people interpreted that as, okay, well, they're just not leaving. They're just staying in the Mountain West, and that's going to be where Boise State stays for, however, indefinitely. I don't buy that. I think this was just a strategic move by Boise State to say, all right, hey, AAC, we're good. We actually are talking to another girl. Her name is Big 12. We're a big fan of her. We think that we might get a date with them. And we might be in a semi-long-term relationship. A lot of this obviously has to do with the Pac-12 contract, with TV deals and things of that nature, and things that people that are a lot smarter than me are going to deal with and make sure it gets done. But all that's to say, that's what this hinges on. Going back to Boise State, the branding. I mean, if you add a brand like Boise State to the Big 12, that would be phenomenal. That'd be phenomenal. I mean, the natural rivalry already with BYU would add a ton of juice to that. That rivalry itself, I think, could get elevated, especially if we're being interconference. The blue turf is amazing. Jeremiah Dickey, the AD there now at Boise State, was at Baylor for a while. So there's Big 12 roots there to a degree. It makes a ton of sense. It makes a ton of sense in terms of just optics. Add Boise State, add Memphis. Those are 2 home runs. Now, the next 2 that have been talked about, and again, this is David Smoke, who my money rides with, USF and SMU. USF, large student enrollment, 38,000. It's not as big as UCF, who I know is like the largest student enrollment in the country right now. But there's a natural rivalry there with UCF, which I think could help your case if you're USF. More Florida eyeballs, which would be great. Again, going back to adding markets that you don't already have in pocket. I know UCF and USF aren't necessarily holding the keys to the kingdom when it comes to viewership in the state of Florida. I understand Florida State has that. I understand Miami has that. I understand UF has that. With that being said, you still go from probably having 0 eyeballs. I'm not saying literally 0 eyeballs, but virtually 0 eyeballs to whoever watches USF and UCF. I don't know what percent of the market that is, but I do think that helps your case and that you're expanding your viewership, which is phenomenal. Why would you not want to do that? Then SMU, which is a really interesting school in this whole conversation. The main reason being, for the same reason I was a little bit confused as to why Houston was added. And it makes more sense now. But Houston and SMU are both schools in the state of Texas. Meaning, if you're a president at Baylor, if you're a president at TCU, if you're a president at Texas Tech, you are consciously allowing 2 more schools that are in your backyard and recruiting the same kids as you to have a leg up now that they already didn't have in recruiting. So, for example, if I'm someone who wants to recruit a kid out of Dallas and Texas Tech, let's say, it becomes a lot harder to get that kid out of Dallas than it was before because SMU is now a Big 12 school. SMU might keep him home already because SMU's done a lot of great things on the field recently, and I think Sonny Dykes got that program headed in a super exciting direction. But now, as a president, you're saying, okay, SMU, here's some more bullets. Fire at will. Would it make college football Saturdays a whole lot of fun? Oh, yeah. Would it make offseason recruiting a whole lot of fun in the state of Texas? Oh, yeah, it would. It would be so fun. It'd be fun for us as fans. I raised my eyebrow a little bit at the presidents for making 2 more schools in your state the same conference as you, but if it makes money, it makes sense. They're well endowed. Over $1 billion in endowments for SMU. Ranked 67th in the U.S. and Canada. It's a whole lot of money coming your way. It's a whole lot of money coming your way if you're the Big 12 conference. Would also make the Iron Skillet more fun. I understand it's probably not at the root of all of this, but it still would be more fun to add schools like that are going to add to the rivalry part of college football, because that's what I don't like about this whole conversation. We're not really even talking about college football. The people making decisions here aren't college football coaches, aren't college football personnel. It's people that get up every single day, wear a suit and tie, and they are MBA kind of guys. They are guys that had business degrees. They're not necessarily in between the white lines. They're not people that are buying tickets with their hard-earned money to go and see their favorite team play or their alma mater play. They still have stake in the game, but it looks a lot different than someone who's a college football fan like you and me. So I'm not a fan of this whole conversation for that reason, but still I think it's worth saying. Now we get into the wishful thinking part of this whole scenario. So let's just say, for example, there's a little more room at this table. We're adding other schools. I don't know how many it's going to be. 16 feels like the number. We get into the weeds here. What other schools are maybe on our wish list? And this whole topic kind of gave birth with Jack McKenzie and I talking before the show. He's talking about, okay, well, if it's not these schools, or let's say it is these schools and you have more to add, who do you even look at? And I said, well, the Arizonas. Arizona State and Arizona. Let's say that the Pac-12 sort of disintegrates and that USC and some of the other big brands there, really mainly USC, has to jump ship because there's an offer they can't refuse from some other conference, some other TV deal, and they're, for whatever reason, name what it is, leave the Pac-12. At that point, it feels like everybody else is up for auction. Arizona and Arizona State make a lot of sense. A lot of great players in the Big 12 are from Arizona. Bijan Robinson, Spencer Rattler, Mark Andrews could keep going. The schools already recruit Arizona pretty heavily. Geographically, it makes a lot of sense. You'd probably have a pretty strong following. I think fans would travel to games in the state of Texas or to Oklahoma or whatever it is if you're an Arizona State fan. We'll see how true that is, but that to me would make a lot of sense. I'd be excited to make that addition. Also, huge market in Phoenix. Like Arizona and Arizona State alums end up in Phoenix or the West Coast. I say West Coast as in like California, Northern California, Southern California. That's a whole new market for you as well. And then Jack brought up a really phenomenal point. The academies. You want to talk about just adding eyeballs? If this really is just all about viewership, it's about TV, it's about having an audience, the academies feel like an absolute home run. Now, on the field, maybe there's more to be desired, and maybe adding them to the Big 12 helps with that because Army has kind of been the lead horse for a while there. Air Force looks phenomenal this year. Navy's down. I digress. Not only do you get the immediate support of every single person that went to one of those academies, you get the immediate support of every single person who has any affiliation with any of these branches of the military, Air Force, Army, Navy. You're probably rooting for whatever branch of the military you served in, whether you went to that academy or not. You know how many people that is? I actually don't know how many people that is. Someone tell me. That's a lot of people. It's a lot of people. That's a lot of eyeballs. It's a lot of viewership. And so what Jack was saying is, why would you not add schools that are going to be immediately liked? Like, nobody is going to veto this because of disliking one of these military branches. And I think that's a phenomenal point. And that's why he's in charge and why Armstrong's in charge, and I get to sit in the chair because they're much smarter than me, and I just get to kind of regurgitate their opinions. But I think it's a phenomenal point. I think there's a lot of legs to that theory. So Arizona's academies are on the wish list. Memphis, Boise State, USF, SMU are all what it feels like to be next in line at the table. And wow, that does it. That does it. The hard count has been on 365 Sports for upwards of 50 episodes. It started out with Colt Barber, Ashley Hodge, and Brian Etheridge just giving me the clearance to go in and record on my own. Since then, Armstrong Sims, Jack McKenzie have been the methods behind the madness, and again, allowed me to sit here and look substantially better than I really am. Thank you so much to everyone that's followed along with 365 Sports. It has been an absolute blast. This is one of the things that give me life. It's one of my greatest joys of being able to sit here and talk about the game that I love and that I know that you love. So thank you for following along. Thank you for adding to the comment section. Truly, it means the world to all of us here. But don't get it twisted. The party's still rolling. The party is still rolling. We will continue it at CFB with JD. Would love to see you all there. And thank you so much again for following along. The party rolls on to CFB with JD, and we will see y'all next time on that channel.